Hello everyone. Today we will cover two sections 11.5 and 11.6. 11.5 is related of quadratic functions and their graphs. So now we know that the graph for f of x equal x squared, f of x equal x squared, this is the graph for parabola opens upward. So to graph this function, so here we start x. So since the domain for this function is minus infinity to infinity, so let us take some values for x. So we start from negative, then 0, then positive. So here we take x negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. So these points are enough to graph this function. So if x equal negative 2, square equal 4. If x equal negative 1, so negative 1 square is 1, and so on. If x equals 0, f of x equals 0. If x equal 1, f of x equal 1. And if x equal 2, so 2 square equal 4. So the graph for this function is this one, is A. This is parabola opens upward. Now how about if we graph parent functions? So if we have f of x equal a times x squared. So there's two cases. If a between 0 and 1, for example 1/2, so if a equal 1/2, so to graph this function, also it is parabola opens upward, but we get wider than before. So if we take also x here, negative 2, negative 1, 0, and 1 and 2, then find f of x. Then if we graph these ordered pair in the number line or in the plane, so we get the graph for B, which is parabola opens upward but wider than A, which is f of x equal x squared. While if a is greater than 1, like 2, 3, 4, so let us take for example a is 2. So the graph is also parabola. The graph is parabola, but narrower than a, narrower than this one, f of x equal x squared. So to graph f of x equal 2x squared, so we get C. Also parabola opens upward but narrower than A. Vertical and horizontal translations. Now given f of x equal ax squared plus bx plus c. After completing the square, we can rewrite this quadratic function in this form. F of x equal x minus h squared plus k. So the vertex for this parabola is hk. The vertex is hk. For example, now the vertex for these three graphs is 0, 0, the origin. This is the vertex here. So h here is 0, k is 0. So now the vertex, if the quadratic function is written in this form, so the vertex is hk. And axis of symmetry is x equal h. X equal h. So here in this example, x equals 0. X equals 0 is the axis of symmetry. X equals 0 means the y-axis. Now vertical translation. For parent function f of x equal x squared and k greater than 0. So now, if we need to graph this function f of x equal x squared plus k, so this function is identical to f of x equal x squared, just we move this graph k units up. So moves the graph for f of x equal x squared up k units. While if we have f of x equal x squared minus k, so we move the graph of f of x equal x squared down k units. So this is called vertical translation. While for horizontal translation, so to graph f of x equal x minus h squared, so we move this graph h units to the right. So here if we have negative, we move to the right. If we have positive, we move to the left. This is for horizontal translation. So to graph f of x equal x minus h squared, this graph is identical to this one, f of x equal x squared. Just we shift this graph h units to the right. While to graph f of x equal x plus h squared, so moves the graph of f of x equal x squared to the left h units. Combination. So in this example we have vertical shifting and horizontal shifting. So this one, to graph f of x equal x plus 3 squared minus 4, will move the graph of f of x equal x squared to the left 3 units and down 4 units. So here 4, negative 4 means vertical shifting, while 3 here is horizontal shifting. So for horizontal shifting, if we have positive, we move to the left. For vertical shifting, if we have negative, we move down. Positive, we move up. So we'll move the graph of f of x equal x squared left 3 units and down 4 units. Now graphing quadratic equation of the form f of x equal a times x minus h squared plus k. So here the vertex of this parabola is hk, and axis of symmetry is x equal h. So here we set x minus h equals 0, so x equal h. And for direction of parabola, we look at a. If a greater than 0, so the graph opens upward. If a less than 0, if a is negative, so the graph opens downward. Note, remember the axis of symmetry is an equation, not a number. So here axis of symmetry x equal a, this is an equation, not a number. So for example, find the vertex, the axis of symmetry, and the direction of the parabola, then graph the equation. So we have y equal 2 times x minus 2 quantity square minus 1. So now if we compare this equation with this one, so y equal a times x minus h squared plus k. So here a equal 2, h equal 2, and k equal negative 1. So to find the vertex is hk. So h here is positive 2. Why? So here look. minus 2 equal negative h. So h equal positive 2. So here positive k equal negative 1. So k equal negative 1. So the vertex hk is 2 minus 1. Axis of symmetry is x equal h. In this example, h equal 2. So x equal 2. And direction. Here a is 2 and 2 is greater than 0. So if a is greater than 0, so the graph opens upward. So now let us graph this parabola. So first graph the vertex, which is 2, negative 1. So 2, negative 1, so this is the origin. We move to the right 2 units and down 1 unit. So this is the vertex. From this point, we graph parabola opens upward. X equal 2 is the axis of symmetry. So this is x equal 2. X equal 2. Axis of symmetry. Section 11.6. Further graphing of quadratic functions. So sometimes the equation is written in this form, like this: y equal 2x squared plus 4x plus 5. So this is not written in the form before, like f of x equal a times x minus h squared plus k. So if the equation is written in this form, we can rewrite this equation in the form like this. Y equal, we can rewrite it like this. How? By completing the square. So let us use the completing the square to rewrite this equation in the standard form. So first, for completing the square, the first step is make the coefficient of x squared 1. So here we have 2. So divide each term by 2. So each term is divided by 2. Now, move the constant 5 over 2 to the left side. So subtract 5 over 2 from both sides. So we get y over 2 minus 5 over 2 equal x squared plus 2x. Now to complete the square on right side, we add to both sides 1/2 times the coefficient of x. The coefficient of x is 2, quantity square. So we add this quantity to both sides of the equation y to complete the square on right side. So now 1/2 times 2 equal 1. 1 square is 1. So now add 1 to both sides. So rewrite this equation, y over 2 minus 5 over 2. So we add 1 to the left side and 1 to the right side. After we add 1, so right hand side becomes perfect square, trinomial. So if we factor this by trial and error, so we get x plus 1 times x plus 1. So here x squared is x times x. The sign for the last term is positive, so the sign for the binomial is the same like middle, positive, positive. And 1 is 1 times 1. So let us check. The inner product is 1x. The outer product is 1x. So 1x plus 1x equal 2x in the middle term. Now x plus 1 times x plus 1, we can write it like this. X plus 1 quantity square. So now we have y over 2 minus 3 over 2. Simplify left side. So here we can, we can move now the constant to the right side. Move the constant to the right side. So add 3 over 2. Add 3 over 2 to both sides. So we get y over 2 equal x plus 1 square plus 3 half. To solve this equation for y, multiply by 2. Multiply by 2 each term. So 2 times y over 2 equal 2 times x plus 1 square times 2 times 3 half. So each term is multiplied by 2. So 2 is cancelled with 2, so we get y equal 2 times x plus 1 square. So 2 is cancelled with 2 here, we get just 3. So now if you look at this equation and compare this equation with this, y equal a times x minus h quantity square plus k. So now we can find the vertex and axis of symmetry. So here in this example, the vertex is hk. So h here equal what? So to find h, look here, we have negative h equal positive 1. Divide by negative 1, so we get h equal negative 1. So if the sign is opposite, so here h we get negative. If the signs is the same, so h is positive. So here the signs are opposite, so h is negative. So negative 1. While k, positive k equal positive 3, so k equal 3. So this is the vertex, negative 1, 3. The direction. For direction of perpendicular, look at A. A equal what? A is 2. And 2 is greater than 0. So, if A is greater than 0, so the graph opens upward. And axis of symmetry is x equal h. X equal h. In this example, h is negative 1. So x equal negative 1. This is axis of symmetry. So to graph this perpendicular, so first graph the vertex. The vertex here is what? Is negative 1, 3. So from the origin, we move negative 1 to the left, then 3 units up. So this point is negative 1, 3. Then from this point, we graph perpendicular, opens upward. X equal negative 1, this is axis of symmetry. X equal negative 1 is axis of symmetry. So there is another method to find the vertex and to graph the perpendicular. If the equation is written in this form, so you don't need to complete the square. So if the equation is written in this form, we can use this formula here. Vertex formula. The graph, this formula, vertex formula. The graph of f of x equal ax squared plus bx plus c. So this is quadratic equation, which is the same like this, is written in this form. The graph of f of x equal ax squared plus bx plus c, where a not equal to 0, because if a equals 0, so here we get 0 times x squared equals 0, so we get linear equation, not a quadratic. So here it should be a not equal to 0 to get a quadratic equation. So now the graph of this function is a parabola with vertex. What is the vertex? Is minus b over 2a. b is the coefficient of x. a is the coefficient of x squared. This is h, minus b over 2a. And k here is f of minus b over 2a. Let us apply the same example. Let us find the vertex for the same example, this one. So here we have the same example. Find the vertex of the graph y equal 2x squared plus 4x plus 5, which is the same like this. So now compare this equation with this, y equal ax squared plus bx plus c. So here a is equal to, b is 4, and c equal 5. So now the vertex vertex equal, this is the vertex, minus b over 2a, comma, f of minus b over 2a. So first, minus b over 2a, minus b is 4, so minus 4, over 2 times a is 2. So simplify, negative 4, 2 times 2 is 4, negative 4 divided by 4 is negative 1. So this is h, which is minus b over 2a. This is h. To find k, to find f of minus b over 2a, to find f of minus b over 2a, so we know that minus b over 2a equal what? Equal negative 1. So substitute negative 1 for negative b over 2a, so we have now f of negative 1. Now, f of negative 1 is what? We know that y is f of x. Y is equal to f of x. So to find f of negative 1, just substitute negative 1 for each x in this equation. So now we have 2 times x here is negative 1 square plus 4 times negative 1 plus 5. Simplify. Negative 1 square is 1, so 2 times 1 is 2. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4 plus 5. So 2 minus 4 is negative 2 plus 5 equal 3. So this is k. So minus b over 2a is negative 1. And f of minus b over 2a equal 3. So this is the vertex, which is the same. So here we get the vertex is negative 1, 3. Also here we get the vertex, which is negative 1, 3. The same vertex. So if the equation is written in this form, you don't need to complete the square. Just apply this formula. Apply this formula to find the vertex. So minus b over 2a is h. F of minus b over 2a is k. Finding maximum or finding minimum and maximum values. So if you look at these two parabola, one of them is opens upward, this one is opens downward. Now this point is the vertex. This point is also a vertex for this parabola. Now this point is called maximum. So the vertex here is negative 3, 4. This point is negative 3, 4. While the vertex here is 2, 1. Now, so this parabola has maximum value which is equal to 4. So here this distance is equal to 4. From 0 to this point is 4. Or k here equal what? Is 4. So k here is the maximum value. This maximum value occurs at what? At x equal negative 3. While here, if the parabola is open downward, k here is 1. This is h, this is k. So this distance from this point to this point is 1 unit. So the minimum value here is 1. The minimum value of 1 occurs at x equal what? X equal 2. So the vertex of a parabola, this is the vertex, gives us maximum or minimum value. So if the parabola is opens downward, gives us maximum value. If the parabola opens upward, gives us minimum value. So the f of x, or the y value of the vertex, so the y value here is 4. The y value here is 1. So 4 here is maximum value, 1 here is the minimum value. So the f of x, or y value of the vertex, is the minimum or maximum value of the function. So from now on, if I say find the maximum value, so this means that find k, which is here 4. If I said find minimum value, also find k. K here is 1. So if the parabola is opens upward, so we get minimum value. If the parabola is opens downward, so we get maximum value. So now 4 here is maximum value, 1 here is minimum value. For example, a stone is thrown upward. So this is the stone, is thrown upward. The stone's height in feet, s of t, after t seconds, is given by the equation s of t, or you can say f of t or f of x, the same. So here s is instead of f and t for x. So the stone's height in feet, this height, after t seconds is given by the equation s of t equal negative 16 t squared plus 32t plus 256. Find the maximum height of the stone. So here we need to find the maximum height. The maximum height means find k. If you look at this graph, so a stone is thrown upward. So the graph is like parabola opens downward. So here, if the parabola is opens downward, so here we get maximum value. This point, this distance is called maximum value, which is equal to k. So now we need to find k. So first find the vertex hk, and k here is the maximum height. So now look at this equation. S of t equal negative 16t squared plus 32t plus 256. So this equation is written in this form, like at squared plus bt plus c. So we can find a, b, and c. A is equal here negative 16, b is 32, and c equal 256. I need just a and b, I don't need c. Okay, so now h equal what? Equal negative b over 2a. So we apply this rule here. This rule. The graph of f of x, when a not equal 0 is a parabola with the vertex. So this is the vertex. This is h, this is k. Now, to find h equal minus b over 2a. So negative, b is 32 divided by 2 times negative 16. A is negative 16. Simplify, so we get 1. 1 here is the time, t here is the time, and s of t is the height, or maximum height. Now to find k equal s of negative b over 2a. So here the function is s instead of f. You can say f of t or s. So here the function is s. So k, or the maximum height, equal s of negative b over 2a. Now negative b over 2a equal what? Equal 1. So substitute 1 for this quantity, negative b over 2a. So we get s of 1. Now to find s of 1, this is the function s of t. So to find s of 1, just substitute 1 for each t. So we get negative 16, t is 1 square plus 32 times t, which is 1, plus 256. Simplify, so we get 272. So this is the maximum height, 272. So now this height is 272, this is k. So the maximum height occurs at what time? At t equal 1 second. So here the time, which is h, equal 1 second. So this maximum height occurs after 1 second. In the next video, I will solve you some exercises related for these two sections. Thank you.